so our community can have it in the future. Right. All right. Quick mic check. How's everybody's sound? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Excellent. All right. Let's get our monologue out of the way. I got some really juicy topics for you guys today. If you guys saw the text thread. So let's get the monologue out of the way. So they told us that wealth was locked behind boardroom doors that we would never enter. That freedom was preserved for the privileged, the connected, and the already rich. But let me tell you something, that was a lie. See, we are the generation that's rewriting the rule book. See, we don't need $1 million fund. We don't need a landlord's permission, but what we do need is a blueprint, y'all. That's exactly what I'm about to lay down. This is Airbnb Pro Tips, and I am your host, Earl McCray. Every week, we're breaking down real game from real entrepreneurs on how to launch, automate, and scale that Airbnb business. We're giving you the strategies, the money moves, and the mindset shifts that will separate those from the dreams from those who are executing on those dreams. Here, we celebrate the wins, both big and small. Here, we talk to real entrepreneurs, the one that took action and changed their lives. Here, we're giving you the blueprint so that you can stop watching and start building. So, if you're ready to tap into your God-given ability to turn knowledge into passive income, to create a system that works for you instead of you working for it. Hey, welcome home. This is where transformation begins. This is where faith meets execution. This is where you level up your Airbnb game. This is Airbnb Pro Tips. All right, episode 75, boys and girls, of the Pro Tips conversation. So I'm gonna advance the slide because I got some really interesting topics for you guys today. All right. So as always, I like to start with the wins for the week. What are you guys seeing in your businesses? We want to celebrate the big, the small, and the middle, the medium. And then I got some really interesting things that I found in the news cycle about Airbnb and STR specifically in the news. We're going to talk about the number one reason landlords fail at Airbnb, where the money is moving, why hosting isn't enough to winning at Airbnb. We're going to talk a little bit about, is Airbnb dead, or is it different than it was 2 or 3 years ago? And then finally, this is my personal favorite, anxiety killer. Is anxiety killing your grind? All right, so that being said, let us get into the wins for the week, And I'm going to come off of screen share so that we could just talk. Oh, I don't have my camera on. Sorry about that. It is on now. The wins for the week. Now, we can talk about faith. We can talk about family. We can talk about fitness, as well as finances. So I will begin. I'm gonna start with my faith. Guys, as some of you may or may not know, prior to me getting involved with this Airbnb entrepreneur, my life was devoted to my kids, and in that I was the lead, the youth leader at my church. So all those years back, we've done a Bible camp at my church. And so I've kind of evolved into, now I'm the camp director. So, I got people, I got applications trying to get organized. So our camp is the first week of August. I got a training for the staff. So it's busy, trying to keep all those moving pieces in my mind straight. But that's my win. My win is just the excitement is building. Now, the 4th of July is over. People are saying, hey, Brother McCray, what are we going to do for camp this year? What are we going to do for camp this year? So I finally got all the curriculum ready for camp. And the theme of our camp this year is Jesus is trending. So I wanted to go with a online social media kind of slant. And so I got some really great topics lined up. So that is my win for the week. And I'm much closer to getting that launched, as you will. Anybody else? Wins for the week. Wins for the week.
I'll go.
Hey, Dante, what's your
Hey,
wins,
man.
brother?
So, my wins for this past week was I was able to travel safely back to Florida because I traveled to go see family in New Jersey. That's where I'm originally from. So
That's right.
I'm grateful for that. And then while I was out there, I was prospecting and I was getting some new warm leads. So I'm just trying to build on top of that to see what happens there. That's another win. And then also too, I see my grandfather on my Spanish side for the first time in like 2 years. He was in Jersey with me. We went to church together. So that was the first time we did that in a long time. So that's another one as well.
Yeah, family is everything, my brother. Family is everything. And by the way, because you were visiting family and you were doing business, that now becomes a tax write-off. So make sure you put that on your spreadsheet. Every expense, the travel, the food, you did one thing for business, write that bad boy off.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. And if you don't have a good accountant, I got a plug for you. My guy's a good guy. All right. Sounds
Yes,
good.
sir.
Who else? Who else? Wins for the week. What are your wins been for the last 7 days? What you got for me, Chris? What you got?
I just took on another job. I mean, I got a job being I'll be a insurance salesman for Globe Life Insurance.
Okay.
It's all remote. So that's my goal, is to get all my jobs where I can do everything remote. I could be anywhere in the world. I just need a laptop. So
I love it. Streams
it
of
was
income. I love it.
exactly.
Streams of income.
Yep.
Sounds really good. Toya, come on from you for us, sis. Tell us about your wins for the week.
Oh, was sitting up here trying to think before you called on me. My wins for the week, I don't really, all I can think is that I'm glad that the week is almost over. It's just busy. My job is it's just been a lot. We've gone through this reorg. So my win is that, my win is that we're getting towards the end of the week, but what I'm hopeful is that, and I'm excited about, is, as I shared with you earlier, is the energy I have, despite what I have to deal with for 7 hours out of my day. So I'm just really looking forward to really diving into this thing. So that's
man.
kind of where I'm at. Hopefully I'll have more to share.
That's all right. That's all right. That's why we do this weekly. We want to keep you around the campfire, keep you warm, so that we can match that energy with some direction. All right.
Sounds good. Okay. All right. Thank you.
By the way, everybody, welcome Jimmy to the community. Me and Jimmy got a chance to connect not that long
Jimmy.
ago, and
hello,
the energy and the vibe was mutual. So Jimmy, could you tell the community a little bit about yourself?
I'm just a guy, 52 years old, looking to make some more wealth, and very thankful that I got a chance to talk with Earl earlier today, and now appreciate signing up and joining up with you guys and learning from this whole process and getting my feet wet and getting together so I can finally succeed and help make some money for my family.
Amen. Amen. Great stuff. Great. Jimmy, what would you say your wins were? Faith, fitness, finance for the last 7 days? Any of those areas?
Yeah, as far as wins, I'm just being happy to be healthy, I could say. I'm also being happy that at my job, I'm, succeeding there as well, even though Intel's where I work and that's not doing too good as a company, but I'm making the best of it there. And I'm also now surviving this. So, and I'm going to go and go to my next chapter and now finish up, maybe going to real estate school too as well and get my real estate license as well.
I love it. I love it. Well, welcome to the community. Get ready to learn a lot. Get ready to learn a lot. All right.
Did you
know?
All right. So I want to share out with you guys the topics that we have in store for today. We're going to start right with the number one reason that landlords fail at Airbnb. Okay. And here's the subtitle: how the right manager changes everything. So I want you guys to see our value proposition in the marketplace. There are individuals who have mastered a skill set. They know how to get a hard money lender. They know how to renovate a house. They know how to flip a house. They know a lot of things that, they know the mechanical side of acquiring a property and getting it set up, but they may not know how to really do short-term or mid-term rentals. And they don't want to learn either. So that's the key aspect. They don't know, and they're not really interested in learning. That's why we are such a resource. So as you guys are out connecting with these landlords in these variety of markets that we have to choose from, realize this is a conversation they really want to have, because they don't know what, and they don't want to learn it. So I want you guys, we kind of treat this session. I'm going to share a news article, and I want you guys to be my expert panel, if you will, and share out, your thoughts, commentary, what you notice, what you wonder, so we can kind of glean as much as we can from this new news article. All right. So if you guys are in agreement, say bet, and I'm going to play it. Here we go.
Post 2020, 2021, you really saw, I think, a lot of people that got into this side of property or short-term rentals that that were just looking at cash on cash return. The money was just like picking fruit, because, you could get into a property really cheap. Your interest rate's really low. Like the cash flow numbers was just so great. But at the end of the day, like, you still have to deal with people, and these are your guests. And if you don't have a passion for hospitality, then it's going to burn you out. And so you have to make sure that hospitality is at the root of it and at the forefront, because if people don't, they might like your property, but if they don't like you and what you're establishing, they're going to either not book again, they're not going to give you good reviews, and then it's just going to eventually affect your bottom line. So you have to keep hospitality sort of at the forefront of your passion. And if you don't have it, then you can hire us to kind of manage your property for you, because we'd be happy to.
Awesome. Jimmy, I'm going to start with you. What was your takeaway in that first article?
The takeaway was, I guess for me, is for somebody who's new, who's not established yet, can get a lot out of somebody who's already been experienced. And that's basically what I'm looking for, to get my feet wet and get to started on this new journey and proceed, be successful.
Love it. Love it. I'm going to piggyback on what you said, Jimmy. Dante, what was your takeaway from that article?
You gotta have passion for what you believe in and what you enjoy doing. The person who was talking was right. You need to have that type of passion in order to thrive in this business, because it is a people business. Like, there's gonna be guests that are sometimes troublesome, and there's gonna be guests that you don't have to really worry about. But at the end of the day, you just have to cater to them. You have to enjoy catering to them. Without that, then you're not gonna thrive.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. If I could just kind of button up what you guys both are saying is this. As the article said, the guest could love the place, could love the property, could love all the amenities, but not love the person, the host, the person that is curating everything. And a lot of times, real estate investors, landlords in specific, they may know numbers, they may know property, but they may not know people. And then by not knowing what they don't know, they don't create an experience where somebody's going to give them a 5-star review. Somebody's going to want to refer friends and family, someone who's going to want to come back. So that's really our edge. That's our opportunity. You know, again, we're streaming on social media, and this is an opportunity for anyone that wants a second act, anyone that wants a second income that's passive. Learn what we're sharing out, because anyone can partner with a real estate investor and a landlord, because they really don't want to be involved with the people side of the game. And it's the people side of the game that keeps the flow, because wealth and money is just flowing energy. That's what keeps the flow coming. Okay. All right. So transitioning from that thought, I want to talk to you guys specifically about, you know, investors in general. And this article is entitled, "Where is the money moving? How do we pick the right market for STR success?" Okay, where is the money moving? All right, I thought this was a very interesting question. So Chris and Toya, I'm going to have you guys tackle this article when we get on the other side of it. Here we go.
You know, it took like 39 seconds using ChatGPT's newest model to figure out the 11 best rental markets in America. The cool thing they did here is ChatGPT actually recognized, are we talking cash flow or appreciation or both? Cash flow meaning extra money in your pocket every single month. Appreciation meaning the value goes up over time. Or is it both? Is it a mix? So they actually divided the list of 11 best markets into 3 chunks. I want to start with the high growth potential. We're going to work our way down from 11 down to number 1, but we'll start 11, 10, and 9 are going to be the high growth appreciation plays. Coming in at number 11, we've got Jacksonville, Florida. It just topped 1 million residents. It got diversified port and logistics economy, and it's a landlord-friendly state. Number 10, Dallas, Fort Worth. Added 52,000 jobs over the past year. That's the largest gain of any metro, and there's just relentless immigration there. Number 9, Raleigh, Durham. Research Triangle Tech Engine, 14.7% 5-year job growth. State corporate tax headed to 0%. All right, so we got 11, 10, and 9. Let's go to number 8. These 8, 7, and 6 are all the balanced markets. They're kind of potentially appreciation and cash flow. So number 8, Memphis, Tennessee. They said FedEx in a logistics center. It's got robust cash flow and a stable blue-collar demand. Next one, Kansas City, Missouri. Vacancy rate is falling as household growth outpaces new builds, and there's moderate prices. Indianapolis, Indiana. Midwest logistics hub. Rent to price, it says, is 0.65%, so a little bit below the 1% rule, but fairly high compared to most places. And a solid 5-year job growth. Moving down, we got top 5 here. These are all the cash flow heavy markets. So according to ChatGPT, these are not necessarily high appreciation plays. Coming in at number 5, Cleveland, Ohio. Why Cleveland? ChatGPT says it's a healthcare and biotech anchor, like the Cleveland Clinic. It's got high yields and improving population trend in Cleveland. Number 4, Detroit, Michigan, up in Wayne County. According to them, Ford and GM are retooling a lot in their spend there. Real estate values are far below the peak. Next one, Odessa, Midland, Texas. Energy boomtown with cyclical upside and double-digit yield. Texas ranks landlord-friendly. Moving on to number 2, Mobile, Alabama. Deep water port drives logistics jobs, still inexpensive entry prices, plus a landlord-friendly laws market that is underlooked at. I think they're 100% right. That's a great place to look. And in fact, our number 1 market also happens to be in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. Southeast manufacturing hub, steady population, and one of the nation's highest projected 2025 gross yields.
All right, very nice, very nice. So Chris, jump in, my friend. What do you notice and what do you wonder?
I guess the trend. I mean, the trend of the growth. It's funny because I just did this probably a day or 2 ago on ChatGPT looking for the same thing. So it helps.
I included this article with you in mind, my friend.
Yeah, I've been looking all over the place, and I just did this. That's funny.
Love it. Love it. What about you, Toya? What did you notice? What did you wonder?
Well, what I excuse me, what I've noticed is that from the appreciation to cash flow, it seems like it's of course it's about location, but the location seems to be down south. I'm
Mm.
up north. So what I'm wondering is I'm thinking these big metropolitan cities, I mean, I'm in New Jersey, but I'm South Jersey, not too far from Philadelphia, but an hour and a half from New York. I would have thought that those, not New Jersey per se, but like, it would have been more cities centralized or going north. But maybe
Okay.
so my wonder is why? Why
Okay.
does
Yeah,
it seem like that big population is down south?
I can speak to that. So, as most of you guys know, I spent a good chunk of my time in Hawaii, a couple weeks back. Some was pleasure, but the majority of my time I spent doing business. I was at a multi-day real estate investor workshop, and what kept echoing in my ear every single day, it was great speakers, great insight, but they kept doubling down on this thought. You want to invest your time and your money in a market that is in the path of growth. In the path of growth. What does that mean? In the path of growth. Who can come off of mute and tell me what that means?
It's going to continue to grow. It's on the verge of growing.
Beautiful. Okay, couple thoughts here. All right, number one, the jobs are moving to those areas. Here's the ugly truth. The ugly truth is this. Most job-friendly states are down south and not up north. Job-friendly states are creating opportunities, and people tend to go to where there are jobs. Just like in the 1960s, my parents and a lot of other African Americans left the South and went north because that's where the job opportunities were. So we got a little bit of a reversal. Okay, in the path of growth, also consider this. Where are landlord-friendly states currently aggregating at? Landlord-friendly states.
Seems like the South.
Down south, they're leaving Jersey. They're leaving New York. They're leaving California. These states are more tenant-friendly. Okay, and that's great, but think about what we're trying to do. We're trying to generate income, generate wealth. We're trying to create legacy for our family. So we have to be crystal focused on what market we're going to invest our time and energy prospecting in. So the truth of the matter is, where the money is moving is where the investors are moving. And where the investors are moving is where we should, as marketers of remote hosting services, that's where we should be, that is the pond that we should be fishing in. Okay. And I will actually have a link to this presentation, and I will put it in our text thread so you can go back and rewatch these 11 cities, because I highly recommend these 11 cities are a part of your strategic plan to get into over the next 6 to 9 months. That makes sense, everybody?
Yes.
All right. Love it. All right, Cornell, I'm going to come back to you in a short moment. Our next article is entitled, Why Hosting Isn't Enough. The Secret to Winning on Airbnb in it should say 2025, but it says 2024. So let's get that article.
And that's the big thing, is like creating an experience, right? The hotels, they're coming back and they're starting to take this back on, and then the Airbnbs are starting to go away. But the ones that do have an experience, or even again, like are in good areas, help. But like the experience, I feel, is key. And like with us, with our Airbnbs, that's the way when we set out to do it, we were like, we just want to make it like, we want people to give us reviews, but we want to read the reviews and they're like, oh my gosh, we had such a good time just playing board games or doing things with our kids, or we got to play on this thing, or the bus was so fun, the experience, you know, like if we can pour into the lives of families and the monetary thing is great, but like getting that from families and hearing the feedback from them and just time they had with their children, that's the win.
All right. Come off mute, Cornell. Tell me what's your takeaway. What did you notice? What did you wonder from that quick article?
That quick video, saying that it's you can't, basically saying that like you can't just, I guess, do regular Airbnb hosting just simply anymore. I noticed that he said he had some. It looked like he had kind of like something different going on, like a bus. So I was thinking outside of the box, and I've seen that before, where some people have like buses or they have like boats, and you can actually rent that out and have that experience. Like he was saying, more so like he wanted the guests to actually remember the experience, have a great experience, and remember something as simple as, oh, we were playing a good family game board. I can't believe, we actually got this Airbnb is unique because it's in a bus, but it has all these things or anything. So it's different, and it's thinking outside of the box. So that's what I got from the video. What he was talking about. It just really just looked like he's thinking outside of the box versus just regular giving a person's a place to sleep their head and stay, actually giving them a different experience.
Absolutely. So guys, I'm going to give you guys 5 things that every one of your properties has to have in order for you guys to be average, just to be, in the middle of the pack. And if you don't at least have these 5 things, you're below average. So number 1 is fast Wi-Fi and a workstation in every room. Because again, not only am my thought process is for you guys to profit during the high season equals short-term rentals, but during the low season, you can profit off of what we call the midterm rental. That's the midterm is when you have something that's 30-day or longer. And keep this number in mind, and this is again a gift for those people out in social media. Your midterm rental is typically anywhere from, say, 1.5 to 1.7x of what the traditional rental rate is. So if my rental rate is $2,500, you should be charging for your midterm stay 1.7 that rate. Okay. All right. Now, when we get into our short term is that 30-day or less play box. That should be anywhere from 1.5 to 2.0 what that monthly rental rate should be. So anything in that threshold is a win. So you got to have fast Wi-Fi and a workspace. Number 2, guys, I'm learning this. I wasn't always of this opinion. Number 2, you got to have a pet-friendly place. Cornell, you remember back in the day, you and I went back and forth on this?
Yep.
We are now of the opinion, if you have a place that's not pet-friendly, change it so that you can be on the right side of that curve. About 70% of travelers want to move with their fur babies. So if that's a conversation that you got to have with the landlord about this is the plan forward, you got to have that early and often. And like for me, what's great is because I've gotten to the point, where I've, tried to meet people. I'm actually meeting real estate investors when they acquire a property. Like I was at a property today, guy invited me over. He says, Earl, I just picked up this property. His team is in there. They're doing renovation. He and I are talking about getting this place ready before it's actually, there's no furniture in it. There's no drywall in it. He just wants to know what are the requirements for this to be a viable product. And that's a good place to be. That is a really good place to be, because then you can tell the investor on the front end what things are going to move the needle. And these 5 things I'm talking to you guys about now, this is what I told him. So I told him the Wi-Fi and the internet or workplace, told him pet-friendly setup. I told him number 3, in-unit laundry. Back in the day, you know, it didn't seem like it mattered, but it's a big deal. If you take on a place, you really want to push that space has an in-unit laundry, because that's going to kill your competition. Number 4, smart technology, keyless entries. The days of lock boxes and trying to deal with keys, most guests want a easy, hands-free experience. They don't want to worry about, you know, getting the keys. I had one experience not that long ago where there was a big deal, but you know, I don't have many Hasidic Jews check into my place and really want a key because of their faith. They couldn't deal with any, and you guys may know the backstory. Hasidic Jews can't do anything on the Sabbath that has to do with technology or moving parts. So as crazy as that was a conversation I was having. And then finally, they got to have quality beds. Guys, you want to double down. If your bed's not comfortable, if you get a review that's saying that your bed's not comfortable, you guys want to invest in a topper. That piece of, you know, padding that goes on top of the mattress, that will allow it to be a lot more comfortable. Those are the 5 things, guys, to be average, to be in the middle. Now, to create an experience, you got to get a little bit out of the box. Like this guy had the bus. If you have someone that has like the ability of creating like some themes or a mural where people can take a photo and then put it on Instagram or Facebook, that's that little extra. All right, guys, come off of mute and tell me, you know, comments, takeaways, or things that maybe you want to push back on that you didn't know. Come off of mute.
You know, I agree with that, what you said, Earl. Like a little bit outside of the box. Like you said, you want them to have a picture moment. You know, maybe an Instagrammable moment inside of your space. Maybe you want to put even something as simple like you want to put a pool table in your place if your place is big enough. Or I noticed too with a lot of guests, they actually like the experience of having a TV within their room. So like I know for one of my places, they have a TV. I know it's a TV in the room, but it's actually on the wall. Guests is like that when you have a TV on the wall with the with it handled on the wall for them to have experience, because they like TVs with inside the comfort of watching TV inside of their room along with the work desk. So all those little things like that, is those little things help people really get a better experience, and they actually will definitely enjoy that a lot.
Absolutely. Excellent. All right, anyone else? Come off of mute. Chime in and give me your commentary.
I love the pet friendly part of it because people are crazy about their pets now. I mean, everywhere you go in the store, they have pets. So that's a good idea there. Make it pet friendly.
68% of travelers want to move with their pets. 68%.
Well, to me, the key to it is creativity. So I guess with thinking out the box, it's what creative things or aspects can you add to your property that's going to bring about the experience.
Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Let's move into our next thought.
And that's a big thing.
Our next thought is
Like creating, and that's a big thing.
All right. Airbnb isn't dead, but it is different. It is different. So let's take a look at this article, and let's have maybe Toya and Jimmy tell me what their takeaway is. Here we go.
The days of just buying a short-term rental property, tossing Airbnb and doing well, I'm not saying they're over, but if I were to generalize it, very, very difficult. And everyone got hot on the STR space during COVID because it was easy. No one was going to hotels. So you had this disproportionate artificial bump in usage. I was like, I'm going to get in the short-term rental. I'm going to make 18% of your cap rates. Well, that's all gone. And so people are stuck with these Airbnbs. So my suggestion would be you either have to differentiate yourself in a market, apply a brand standard, apply some cool aspects to it, because those things start to rank on the algorithms through Airbnb and Vrbo, and you can start to improve. Or you give it to a property management company like us, or a very good local one. And they're a dime a dozen. There's mom and pop shops everywhere that will manage your property. Try to pick one that has a very good record of home maintenance, a very good record of service delivery for their clients, and that because they will over time presumably deliver a better return. And the do-it-yourselfers, it's still possible, but it's a lot of time for not a lot of money.
Good stuff.
Okay.
What comes to you?
It seems that, like I said, it's no longer what it used to be.
Mhm.
So, and I was gonna say I remember from the call, I guess maybe it wasn't last week, but some weeks ago, where it seems like the whole thing is about the experience. And that's the way you're gonna do, like you said, differentiate yourself from the other.
Well said. Well said. Jimmy, what was your commentary?
Yeah, I agree with Toya. You have to stand out. You have to do stuff to be seen, as far as to get people in there and to get people to have a good memory to want to use you again. And I guess from the past, I haven't had that much experience with the past through the Airbnb, but what he's talking about is different. So you have to adjust to the customer, I guess, what they're wanting now.
Yeah. So one of the things that when we do our onboarding call, so we've gotten the landlord management agreement out of the way, and we're doing the onboarding call with our landlord partners. One of the things that we have to say is this: what memory is our guest going to take away having visited your place? And they're going to be like, what do you mean? What memory? That's it. We can't just provide the beds and the pillows and the comforters. We got to really get our landlord partners, because again, they are partners with us on this. This is, they're bringing us on to kind of advise them, but we have to be pointing them in the direction that when they acquire a place and they start furnishing everything, what memory can be created in their place? And there's some very simple things, right? A lot of places that have a game room, a lot of places that have a theme room, a lot of places that has an additional space that maybe you have a playroom for the kids. There's nothing out of bounds aside from our creativity. But if we plant that seed early and often with our landlord partners, and again, I'm not talking about rental arbitrage here. I'm talking about the co-listing model, where we reach out to a landlord, we talk about drawing traffic to their place, and they provide the property.
The days of just buying a short-term rental property.
Sorry, got excited. They create the property. We give them recommendations on how to create that memory, and then we manage it, right? So, but they just need to be guided. They just need to be told what to do, because clearly, if they knew what to do, they wouldn't have us on the team. All right. Mm-hmm. If you guys are tracking, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. So
aye.
Awesome. So I got one more article that has served me well, especially when I want to say it this way. There's different seasons that you have in your business. And although I don't believe in grinding, I believe in building. So I'm not about hustle. I'm about intentionality. I'm about building. I don't care about grinding, because when I say grind, that's that you're always chasing something. You're chasing something. You're chasing something. But when you're building something, you're attracting something. You're attracting people, places, and favorable circumstances into your aura. But there's always, when you're building, there's always like, am I getting there? Am I in the right state? So you gotta be able to do something to kill the anxiety. And by show of hands, am I the only one that suffers from anxiety? Give me a thumbs up if you suffer. Okay. All right, we're being honest. Anxiety will take away your mojo. So I saw this article and I wanted to share this with you guys.
I used to have a lot of anxiety, I guess just dealing with so much. I remember reading Russell Simmons' book on meditation, and it really showed me how to calm myself down. And it was like, your brain is like a caged monkey trying to jump out of the cage. Meditation is like the monkey coming to the realization that you're here to stay. Like, your brain can't leave your skull.
How do you meditate?
I set my alarm for 15 minutes. I come out of the meditation, pause it real quick, and write down whatever I ran across in the meditation. And those be like whole new businesses, whole new ideas, a whole new world that I could add on to what's going on already in my life. And it's just been super helpful.
I'm 19 Keys, and this is a high-level conversation.
Oh, man. So I will tell you, one of the best things that I did for my business and my marriage, married people out there listening, is I started meditating. And there's absolutely different ways to meditate. He suggested the 15-minute method in the pen and piece of paper. Come off of mute and give me a commentary of what your practice is if you also meditate.
I do not, but I probably need to.
Say more if you don't mind. Anyone else? Come off of mute and give me commentary.
I don't meditate, but there are things that I have, like daily rituals that I do. Before I start, because I work from home full time as well. So like I start out with, I burn my sage incense. I start out with that. And then I'll listen to, like, I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with Abraham Hicks.
Yes, big fan.
Yep, I listen to her every morning.
Yes.
And then I'll just put on like my jazz music or whatever while I'm working.
Yes, very good. Very good. Very good ritual. I love the ritual. Because I love live music, specifically jazz. Oh, that's one of my love languages right there. Love that. All right. Anyone else want to come off the mute and share some commentary? All right. So my recommendation, if this is not something that you've tried ever, try it. Literally resolve, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to get to a quiet place, preferably before the day gets started. Get up a little earlier, set an alarm for 15 minutes, and just sit in silence with a sheet of paper and a pen ready, because I got to tell you, the things that come, it's it's next level, in a good way, because the things that you put on that piece of paper is literally the creator whispering in your ear, and you being quiet enough for that whisper now to be audible. And then you capture it on your journal. Did someone want to say something while I was talking? All right, super. All right. Well, listen, we're going to keep moving. Now, I want to basically share. We on my end, we do a lot with mentoring. We do a lot with helping young people see entrepreneurship in a different way. So the book that I'm sharing with my young people is a gentleman by the name of Brian Murray. Brian Murray is one of the hosts for Bigger Pockets. And so we're reading this book called Multifamily Millionaire. And I had about 10 trivia questions that we put together. We went through the first 5 last week. I want to go through the second 5 now. So let me cue that up. And I want to have you guys participate in that. Or not. Hold on. I don't think I queued up question. Okay. I may save that for next week. I will say that for next week. Okay. So here we are. I want to, because that section is not ready. I want to reserve, we got about 10 minutes from the top of the hour. I want to reserve this for anyone that wants to share out any crazy but real guest interactions, so that our newbies that's with us right now have a level of, okay, that's not out of the norm, and this too shall pass. All right. So I think Cornell, you and I are probably the oldest people currently on the podcast right now. So if you want to share one of your crazy guest interactions, I think I have one that I can follow up with. Because we want to normalize crazies so that you're not blown out of the water by some of the stuff that guests do. So you got one, Cornell, you can share?
Yeah. I think I do have one. Mainly, I have I had a few guests in the past that actually believe that they can check out when they want to. It might not be too much of a crazy story, but I know that a lot of guests don't like to read. You're gonna run into some guests that some things that you put in your house rules, or some things that you might put in your actual place for your listing, guests don't follow. I know, for example, I had one crazy guest that actually damaged some of our tiles that we had in our room. We actually charged $50 replacement fee for each tile, and they were refusing to pay that because they said, "Oh, we're not going to do that. We don't see it nowhere. You didn't let us know that in the beginning." And to redirect them back to our house rules, because you're going to notice that if you're in this business long enough, that a lot of these guests don't like to read, stuff that's really right in front of them. So we end up actually resolving that at the resolution center and actually getting that on the back end. But some guests, they'll do crazy things like that, where they'll damage your place, or they'll steal some of your tiles, or they'll actually have it worse. I know back in the day we didn't have pets, but they'll some guests I have like a pet, and they'll say it's a service animal, and actually it's like an emotional animal. Service animals we can't back up, we can't push away, right. But some guests will try to have pets in your place and say it's a service animal, and it's not. So that's another crazy story. But I definitely had a lot of guests that actually stole some of my towels, my amenities, and actually damaged them. And they're surprised on the back end when they get charged, and they actually see in black and white right there on the listing that you get charged that amount for each replacement fee of the towel. So guests will get crazy by not simply reading. I mean, I had plenty of those stories. So I'm pretty sure you got another story, Earl, to follow up with that.
Oh boy, do I. It feels like every month I get renewed with a story. Okay, so I would say the last 30 days, I guess the story that kind of tops my radar is, so I had a guest who instant booking is our best friend, as you guys know. So they don't have to deal with any interaction of us. But so on the back end, one of the things that we do is we require our guests to buy supplemental insurance. Supplemental insurance. And that supplemental insurance, what does that look like? So when they book a place, we have a message, and I'll actually screen share because I think it's valuable for our new folks to kind of have a sense on, how we get the most out of our messages. So, all right. And I wish I could, like, I don't want to put names up here. So I'm going to take this down only because Airbnb gets really, really sensitive. Not Airbnb, but YouTube gets really sensitive when names are up there. But I think, okay, cool. So I don't think there's any names all right. So this is like an example of a message, right? So this person books, and I shoot them an automated message, as you guys can see. So this is not me, this is AI. And then part of the automated message, it states, okay, I hope you guys are tracking. It states that in number 3, rental damage plan. Please note all reservations will be required to purchase our rental damage cover in 24 hours to make their reservation, or their reservation will be canceled. Okay. And so that goes out in the automated message. And then, sometimes, we'll have to do another message because they'll just miss it. They'll just miss it. And that other message, generally goes out like an hour before they're supposed to book. And it will state, this is the morning after message. It will state we just need you to purchase the rental insurance. But so you may be wondering, well, McCray, I thought Airbnb has a $1 million policy. Okay, they absolutely do. They do. But let me tell you the story. So this is a true story. I can't make this up. So we had a guest at one of our landlords' space check out. They physically checked out, and 4 days later, because the code for them to check out hadn't been scrambled at this time, we hadn't had the remote locks, so it all had to be done manually. Well, my landlord didn't get over to change the code. So the guest was able to provide the code to a third party. Now, get you, they took photos of the refrigerator, of the stove, and they uploaded them onto a third party platform called, what's the name of this platform? They basically sold the landlord's utilities. The stove, the refrigerator were purchased by someone. They gave the code to the person they sold it to, and they went in and they removed, and because the landlord had a camera in place, they were able to recover the truck or go back, get the license plate, and kind of unravel all of this. And so here's the real crazy part. So the person that they sold the refrigerator and stove to was also an Airbnb a short-term rental operator. And we knew each other personally. And so when the story started to be kind of sorted out, we ended up getting a police report. We ended up submitting everything to Airbnb. And so, to make a long story short, Airbnb would not reimburse us for the damages because I could not get the police report within the 15-day window. that Airbnb requires all documentation to be turned in. Are you guys tracking? I hope you guys are tracking. So because I couldn't get it done in 15 days, and mind you, I had to get a police report. Because I couldn't get it in that neat 15-day window, they rejected. And so all of the damage came out of my landlord's pocket. And it didn't feel very good. Yes, in a way, they kind of dropped the ball because they didn't change the codes. You know, because typically what we do is we set the codes to the last 4 digits of their mobile phone number, because we feel like we're dealing with good people. And oh, it's telling me to lower my hand. Okay, I can do that. And now, as a result of us having that one bad experience, and there's been other experiences, I will tell you that if a guest does something and, you know, Airbnb wants you to submit a claim. So say the claim is $100. Airbnb never gives you the $100 back. They may give you $95 or $93, but they never give you the exact dollar amount that you're claiming for. So now, because when we know better, we do better, we now have that extra layer of insurance so that if something goes sideways, you know, it's almost like having 2 dental insurances. You do one dental job, but you bill it to 2 insurance companies to make sure you're never out of pocket. Now, so if that makes sense, you know, please come off of mute to share any questions or any commentary. But that's absolutely one of the craziest stories that I had to work my way through.
Well, I have a question. So where you said the instance where you would normally charge, when I say tenants or the guests,
The guests, right.
so when because they weren't utilities, when the appliances came up missing, how come they could not be charged for those particular missing items?
Well, what was tying my hands is I was waiting on a police report. I was waiting on something official from the police department. And because there was a little bit of a lapse, like, so part of what happened is the guest checked out. And so you have 15 days from the checkout date to submit a claim.
Mm-hmm.
And typically your cleaners come in, you know, pretty much, you know, the day after or the day of to get the place ready.
Mm-hmm.
So the cleaners had come and gone, and then this person has this third person come in, and then they do what they did, and then so the clock is running.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we got the police involved, it may have been at day 10, and so the police didn't turn it around quick enough. So
right, which is
understandable. It wasn't until we got the police report and the police was able to connect the name of the person that sold the damaged goods to the person that was previously in our Airbnb, that we were able to connect the dots. Because then we were just wondering, well, how did this happen?
Right.
And we had a suspicion, but we didn't have any evidence.
Okay.
So,
but I thought you said there were cameras. There weren't cameras?
Well, remember, there was a third party.
Oh, right. Okay.
So,
right.
You know, if we had seen the previous guest there, we would have been able to make some sort of some
right
of it.
Right. Okay.
So again, there was a lot of lessons. You know, one of the lessons that we got is, number one, make
sure that
make that additional
them codes.
Change the code, number one, but also get another layer of protection.
Right. Okay.
For your landlord.
Okay.
Yep. Anybody else want to come off mute for commentary?
I have a question. How did it go when I believe after it got done, the stuff got stolen for the next tenant? How did that happen? Do you have to cancel the reservations until they
That's
get
a good
replaced?
question.
That's not a bad point. Yeah. So what ended up happening is that we had some previous guests come in or scheduled to come in, and just by the grace of God, that's why I say we were able to move their reservations over to some additional sister properties that I have landlord agreements with. So we were still able to accommodate those guests. They just had to be 5 minutes, away from the original location. Now that's not something that you want to do often, because again, guests can get really funny. Like if they book property A, they don't want to hear about property B. Book property A, but they were really understanding and loving with the situation. And I mean, and it does help when you can be proactive with what would happen. And I think we gave them a bit of a discount too. I think that's what we did for their inconvenience. I think we gave like them 15% off of the stay. So that's always a smart move, especially when your guests, have to be inconvenienced for whatever reason. It's what's the saying? 10% of something is better than 100% of nothing.
Nothing, right?
Yes. Any other commentary or any other questions?
I have one more question.
Yes,
So do you find in that particular instance, or just period with this supplemental, obtaining the supplemental insurance, do you find that landlords are open to it in addition to their regular fee? Or do you find that they are, not against it, but do you find that it's a hard sell to add that insurance as
for
part of the
landlords
package
or for guests?
for the landlord?
No, landlord doesn't
Oh,
care.
no. So the supplemental insurance is for the guests.
Yeah, the guests, they pay an additional.
Okay.
You know what? The truth of the matter is that 90% of guests, they get it. I mean, they literally, they're spending hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars to go out of state and to be in the $30 is not a big deal.
Oh, okay.
And for but I don't get me wrong, I have gotten pushback from folks that were like, well, this is not, this wasn't in the listing. So I do make it a point to put the required insurance in all my listings. So when they push back, I can go straight to the listing and say, it's clearly right here.
Right. Okay.
And then they have every opportunity if they don't want to, go. I have had one or two guests that said, well, I'll find someone else. And they cancel because they can cancel within 24 hours of booking with no penalty. But as soon as they go beyond that 24-hour period, then there's a penalty that they have to, and I don't care. As long as they're not in my calendar, taking away opportunities from other guests, I have no problem.
Okay.
No problem. All right. Well, look, we're at 7:06. We're at the top of the hour. And me and Christopher have a one-on-one schedule. So if we could go around the circle and just share one takeaway that you got from our session today. Who would like to start?
I'll start if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
New places to prospect, because I never thought about, some of that stuff is close to my house, well, close to my state. So that's why I didn't prospect it. I thought it was too small, but it seems like that's where it's at. So I will be prospecting those areas.
All right. Awesome. Bring it. Let's go. Let's go. What about you, James?
I got a takeaway. I had to take away. One of my takeaways when we talked about earlier, how change is definitely a big part of actually what we're doing. You're talking about things are changing in the STR space. I took that away earlier. Just talking about change and how we should adapt moving forward to actually be not in the middle but be in the top. We would talk about pet friendly spaces, giving that full experience, having a full automation, having a seamless, easy experience for all our guests to actually enjoy. Gets us to the next level, have us thinking outside of the box. So that's a major takeaway I took away from today. Is really thinking outside the box and really just upgrading and upshifting our mindset to actually do more than what we're doing in that way. So that's a major takeaway.
Perfect.
Mhm.
All right. Jimmy or Toya, takeaways.
My takeaway is being new to everything is the 5 must-haves, because that's basic to me. That's like basic knowledge I need to have. And the location, that I find is very interesting. So that I'm surprised about, as well as, but that's definitely a nugget to focus on.
All right. Awesome. It's all about value. Dante or Jimmy, takeaways.
I can go. Yeah, I definitely saw the 5 lists of what you gave. I typed it up on my Word document, and also learned that basically location again is where we need to be at to where we can get more people to that want to rent out spaces. And it's good to know that there's things that are going to happen in this situation when they do rent, and be prepared to and have insurance. It looks like an extra insurance that would be a very much help for the landlord, and not having to owe for major costs of any destruction or loss.
Absolutely. All right, Dante, you got the last word, buddy.
The major takeaway that I got from this meeting was to just focus on the trends of just the market in general. When that video was on, what I noticed was it was focused more of like southern states. Like that's like the hub to prospecting, things like that. So that's the major takeaway I took.
Yeah, no, it's sad to say, but the northern states and the Midwestern states tend to be a little more friendly for STR in terms of the regulations as well. So when it's like the perfect storm, they're more STR friendly, and then in addition, the investors are going there because the job, the path of growth is there, and then they're more landlord friendly. So you got this this perfect intersection of why leaving the north and going more south in terms of the markets where you want to actually have a presence just make a ton of sense. So yeah, that's what we are right now. My folks who are checking us out on social media, if anything gleamed of interest to you, my socials are right there. Shoot me a text message. Would love to help you out. But as we wrap this up, I'd like to say, be blessed, everybody. But more importantly, be a blessing. Christopher, I'm going to jump back on that other link so you and I can have some conversation for a little bit, okay?
All right.
All right, take care. Blessings,
Okay.
everybody.
Good night.